check. Yep. And now, Mike's thoughts. Putting foot in your mouth is when you speak out of place. When you put your foot in your mouth, you say something that you may think, but you should not say it. Putting your foot in your mouth is what Puka Nacua just did when he was speaking about the San Francisco 49ers just the other day. On the podcast with Julie Edelman, Games with Names, or Names with Games, Puka said that the 49ers Super Bowl window will be closed once Brock Purdy makes that $50 million deal. Now, Puka, you are not wrong, my man. You are not wrong. Matter of fact, you are spot on. Your views are perfect. Your views are aligned with most of the people that are out there. But you cannot say that. I can say that. Julian Edelman can say that. Other people out in the media can say that. But you being a second year player now, third year player, whatever you are going to be, you cannot say that, my man. Just like, you need to fully insert that foot into your mouth and see if you can backtrack to about April 11th and totally wipe that away from your thing. But guys, Puka is right. Puka is right. Once Brock Purdy gets that $50 million deal, the San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl window is done. It is what it is, and he is spot on. He is not wrong at all. You can't say that, man. Cannot say that. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcasher here, guys, with the Man. I'm sure to manhourradio.com, guys. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. Guys, this is a live interactive show. We see each and every comment that is scrolling down the old interrupts here. There's like, Regional says, hey, and he says, I don't watch the NFL. Well, you should, man. You should, because this is live, raw, uncut NFL talk every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. And then REF says, hey, man, cool hat. I dig your channel. Remember that Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you too, my man. I guess. Happy Easter. Happy Conception Day. Happy Conception Day, because we need to sacrifice those babies at the end of the day. But guys, this is a live, interactive, live, raw, uncut NFL show, guys. We've been tracking ourselves around the old NFL landscape, and we find ourselves firmly in arguably the best division of football tonight. We find ourselves talking about particularly the best division in football. Let me repeat that for the one people three times the charm. The best division in football is the NFC North, guys, and that is who will we be talking about tonight. Over/under edition of the NFC North. We going across the old landscape, and we get to talk about it. But let's welcome Old Man River in the chat. Old Man River's in the chat today. What's up, Old Man River? He says, what's good, brother? What's good with you as well, man? Hope you guys are doing well. But guys, let's hit that like button. Let's hit the share button, and by golly, let's have a grand old time right here at Man Hour NFL Talk, guys. Like I said, we're live, raw, uncut, every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. With that being said, let's get the show started, boys. Let's get the show started, and let's talk about the one and only Green Bay Packers. Let's talk about those Green Bay Packers. What can you say about the Green Bay Packers? For the last two seasons, guys, the Packers have had the youngest team in the NFL. They've had a very, very young, talented young receiver core. They've had a, I guess, veteran leadership in Jordan Love because, you know, he sat on the bench for 3 years. Now he's in this, like, he is the veteran on the old offensive side of the ball, right? But the wide receiver core of Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, and Christian Watson seems like a great young receiving core. However, they have never had that true stat success. They have never had that wow factor. They have never had the postseason success that we have been expecting. Guys, what is the issue in Green Bay? Is it the receiving core or is it Jordan Love? Now, I am a firm believer that Jordan Love got paid a little too early. However, in this NFL landscape that we are in, we know the next quarterback up is going to be the next highest paid quarterback. Jordan Love just happened to play 1 year and then got his dollar bill shell. That's just the way the cookie crumbled at the end of the day. But last season, the Green Bay Packers wide receiver core, guys, had the third highest drops in the NFL. The third highest drops in the NFL. They had a drop rate of over 7% in 2024. They had 33 drops as a receiver core in 2024. Jaden Reed was leading the way. The number one receiver had the most drops, had 10 drops in 2024. That is tough. You cannot have your number one receiver dropping all those passes. But hey, it is what it is, right? But on the other hand, Jordan Love, right? His first 8 starts of the NFL season had 11 interceptions. The man was turning the ball over left and right. He said, here, I don't want to win. Take it. Score. Detroit Lions. Score. Minnesota Vikings. Score. Whoever else were playing, the Philadelphia Eagles, right? 11 interceptions in the first 8 games. But he did not throw an interception in the last 4 starts of this NFL season. Now, Jordan Love did have 3,300 yards passing last season along with 25 touchdowns, but that is a far cry from his 4,000-yard season in 2023 when he got those dollar bills out. Now, he did have 32 touchdowns, but he took a lot less sacks in 2024. So, guys, is it a receiver core issue or is it a Jordan Love issue in Green Bay? Simply put, guys, the wide receivers have to catch the ball. Simply put, the wide receivers have to catch the ball. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If they catch the ball, they are a really, really good team. I've seen Romeo Doubs make this spectacular 3-finger catch above his head, go, bring that back in. And then literally the very next play, the ball hits him in his chest. He's like, I don't want that. I'm scared of that. Like, what? Like, man, like, legitimately, like, what is wrong with you? But hey, guys, the question is the issue of Jordan Love's overratedness, is it actually Jordan Love being overrated, or is it the receiving core just being bad? I have to say it's the receiving core just being bad. You cannot have 33 drops, a drop rate of 7%, the third highest in the NFL. Your number one receiver leading the NFL, not in catches, not in yards, but leading in drops. That is not a recipe for success. It is what it is. And Old Man River says it's the receivers. Love is a decent quarterback. And Old Man River, I think you're right. I think that Jordan Love gets a lot of undeserved hate. Yes, he does. The last 2 seasons that he has been a starter in the league for 2 years now. He does have 11 interceptions both of those seasons. I get that. He is the gunslinger mentality, right? Hell, he sat behind Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was a gunslinger. That is what they like up there, right? I mean, if you're giving me, 25 and 30 touchdowns, I'm more plausible to take those 11 interceptions, honestly. Yeah, hey, it's a high risk, high reward type of situations, but I don't have the stats of how many of those 11 interceptions were because of bad throws or just dropped passes. You know, they tip them up and they happen to fall into the other guy's hands. That's a stat that I would really like to have. I wish I had the analytics team that ESPN and CBS and like NFL has, but I don't have those analytics. I don't have the team backing me. It's just me, right? But I would be curious to see what those numbers are. Take out the catchable drops that were interceptions to see how many interceptions Jordan Love actually does have. But I do think Jordan Love is a decent quarterback. Granted, he is not the best quarterback in the NFL. He is not even the best quarterback in the NFC North. Honestly, he might be the third ranked quarterback in the NFC North. And that seems to be shadowing of his greatness, but the NFC North is pretty loaded. But Old Man River says both, but truthfully that it is both. It is a receiver core issue and a Jordan Love issue. We can't be waffling around here, Old Man River. We can't be out there waffling around. We don't do that here. It's got to be one or the other. I think it's a wide receiver core issue. I think, listen, they get rid of Christian Watson and they bring in somebody else. That improves the team so much. Christian Watson has all the talent in the world, has all the ability in the world. The ceiling is way up here for this guy, but he is consistently injured, consistently dropping easy ass passes, and just not running the right routes. It is what it is at the end of the day. But the Green Bay Packers guys did have another 11-win season in 2024, along with another playoff berth. Back-to-back playoff berths for the man, the myth, the legend, Jordan Love. The Packers are expected just to win 9.5 wins, guys, in 2025. Over under 9.5 wins for the Green Bay Packers in 2025. Guys, the opening segment was the NFC North is the toughest division in football. The NFC North from top to bottom is going to probably have every team be a winning team. Winning team in the NFL right now is 9 wins. So even if they get under the 9.5, they're still a winning team. They're still probably going to make the playoffs. I think in the NFC, you get that 9-10 win mark, you are almost guaranteed into the playoffs. But when we look at the division, I think the Green Bay Packers go 4-2 in the division. I think they sweep the Bears, that's 2 dubs, and they split with the Vikings and split with the Lions. There's 4 wins. They're 4-2 on the season. We're halfway home to the 9.5 win mark. Now, their schedule is not very kind to them this season. It just isn't. They play the Eagles at home. They play the Commanders, Ravens, Bengals, and Panthers all at home. Now, I do not think they beat the Eagles at home. I do not think they beat the Commanders at home. I do not think they beat the Ravens at home. I think they'll beat the Bengals at home, and I think they'll beat the Panthers at home. There's 6 wins. We need 4 more wins on the road to get over that 9.5 win mark. Now, their road schedule is a little bit more favorable, but still pretty damn tough. What's up, Laura? I see you, big dog. They play the Cowboys on the road. They play the Giants on the road, the Browns, the Steelers, the Broncos, and the Cardinals all on the road. Like I said, a very favorable road schedule. We're sitting at 6 wins. As of late, they have owned the Dallas Cowboys. Hell, I'm pretty sure that Aaron Jones from 2 years ago just scored another rushing touchdown on the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. That man was untouchable in that in that game. Right? Untouchable. But I don't see them beating the Cowboys at home. I see them beating the Giants. I see them beating the Browns. I do not see them beating the Steelers, the Broncos, or the Cardinals. They're sitting at 8 wins. 8 wins for the Green Bay Packers in 2024. So I got to pick the under. After being 4-2 in the division and only getting 4 more wins on top of that, that is tough. But when you play the Eagles, Commanders, Ravens, Bengals, all at home, yes, you're at home. Yes, it's a little bit favorable, but listen, the Eagles can play anywhere. The Commanders can play anywhere. The Ravens can play anywhere. The Bengals need a defense, but still, you guys get the point. So, guys, over under 9.5 wins for the Green Bay Packers in 2025. I got to say under. I'd like to say under. And Old Man River is agreeing with me. Pigskin punt. Give me some of that pigskin punt.
Pigskin punt. Get you some.
He says under. We got Laura Johnson Hedrick in the chat. She's a pigskin punter as well. What's up, Laura? What's up? And she says, like an Old Man River says, the Pack gets 9 wins. Still under. It's still a winning record. Still might be a playoff berth, but it might just be under. And Laura says the Vikings are the kings of the North. She says, I'm just joking, but really, the Vikings are the king of the North. Laura, the Vikings are actually last on my list to talk about. So sorry about your Vikings, but I said the best for last, right? I said the best for last. Old Man River says, oh, they're going to beat Dallas. If they beat Dallas, that gives them 9 wins, Old Man River, and we're right on cue. We're still under the 9.5, though. Still under the 9.5. And Laura says, you know, I might be a Minnesota Vikings fan. I might be old Kirk Cousins, president of his fan club still. But I'm going with the Green Bay Packers over. Laura thinks the Packers are going to have 10 wins in 2025. That's tough, baby. That's tough because with that means they're sweeping the Vikings, right? That means the Vikings are getting last in that division, Laura. You better slow it down, baby. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But hey, those are Laura's words, not mine. But guys, over under 9.5 wins for the Green Bay Packers in 2025. I got to go under. A few other people are going under, and the majority of people are going over. So we'll see. Moving on. The Detroit Lions, guys. The Detroit Lions were riddled with injuries in 2024. One of the biggest losses of the season was back in Week 5 when they played the Dallas Cowboys, and it was Aiden Hutchinson. He went down late in that game. Pretty much shouldn't have been in there. They were already blowing out the Dallas Cowboys. It was just mop-up duty. But down he goes, right? It is what it is. Sometimes that happens. Despite the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, however, the Detroit Lions were still able to rattle 8 more wins off in a row and winning 11 of 12 to end the season. However, they were a one and done in the playoffs with a horrible loss to the Washington Commanders. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Vikings and Lions are both one and done. I told you so. But we got to ask the question. We got to address the elephant in the room. If Aiden Hutchinson does come back 100%, if he's fully healthy, much like his old self before the injury, are the Lions a Super Bowl team with a healthy team and a healthy Aiden Hutchinson in 2025? That is a lot to dissect. That's a lot to take in. Let's take the breath. Let's understand that Aiden Hutchinson, guys, no shade of him at all. He is an elite talent. He is a great person on and off the field from everything that I see and read and just his general like family life, right? He seems to be doing things the right way. In 2024, the Detroit Lions had the amazing ability to plug and play last season. A lot of that had to do with the coaching and the system, right? But they plugged and played beautifully for 17 weeks. They had 24 players last year land on IR. 20 of them, which were on defense. But the wild card game, the playoffs, everything finally caught up to them, right? They gave up 45 points to the Commanders and allowing Jaden Daniels to do what he wanted, when he wanted, how he wanted to do it. 300 yards passing, 182 yards total rushing, and it is hard to win when you're giving up that kind of yardage. Now, when we look at Aiden Hutchinson, guys, if he was able to play versus the Commanders, that game, in my opinion, would have been 100% different. That game would have been 100% different. It would have been a much slower game. We would have been looking at the 25 to 28 point range. We would not be seeing the shootout that we had. What was it, 45 to 38, I think the final score was. It would have been a ground and pound matchup. Grind it out, grit it out, which, in my opinion, would favor the Commanders still. Now, like I said, I think Aiden Hutchinson is a great talent, and he has a bright NFL future. Do not get that twisted. I think he is a top-tier individual, top-tier player in the NFL. But simply put, just adding Aiden Hutchinson back to that Detroit Lions team does not make them a Super Bowl favorite. Adding 100% Aiden Hutchinson does not make the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl favorite. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. A 100% healthy Aiden Hutchinson does not make the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl favorite in 2025. They have a hell of a lot more holes to fill. Like on the defense, right? Is Josh Pascal the right guy at the right defensive end opposite of Aiden Hutchinson? Can McNeil, will he ball out again and earn those dollar bills? I think McNeil's a great talent. I think he had a way overachieved last season. He got paid. Can he repeat that in 2025? And let's not forget the elephant in the room. That offense took a big hit. Yes, they didn't lose any players, but losing an offensive mastermind like Ben Johnson was the last several years in Detroit is a huge loss. And oh, by the way, they lost Aaron Glenn as well. That just told Aaron Rodgers to go basically kick rocks. Guys, the Detroit Lions are not Super Bowl favorites as of right now in 2025, in my opinion. There are teams that simply have just caught up to them. The Eagles exceeded them. The Commanders are right there with them. The LA Rams, my Super Bowl pick for 2025, the Rams got a hell of a lot better this offseason. The Chicago Bears are coming. The Green Bay Packers are coming. Let's not forget about the Minnesota Vikings. We will be talking about them shortly, but they have zero holes on their team. Let's just be honest. They have a couple question marks, like some couple what ifs, but they have zero holes. They didn't lose anybody besides Sam Darnold. Guys, so the issue with the Detroit Lions is they had a huge Super Bowl window. The sky was the limit. Everything was clicking because they were heads and shoulders above everybody else. They failed in the NFC Championship game 2 seasons ago. Everybody caught up a little bit then. One and done in last year's playoffs. Everybody's now neck and neck with them, if not a little bit higher. I'm not saying the Lions don't have grit. They don't have hard work. They don't have Mr. Dan Campbell, wood teeth mouth is like himself. But the simple fact of the matter is that everybody else is caught up. So, guys, what do you think? Are the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl team in 2025? I am saying no. Old Man River says, keep your phenomenon negative energy to yourself. Nice. Laura says, I'm not president of the Kirk Cousins fan club. Come on now. It can't be Cousins and Rodgers, so who is it? Laura says, I'm excited to watch the Lions to see what happens this season. Listen, I am excited to see what the Lions, like if it was truly Aaron Glenn and all Ben Johnson, or if it's a Dan Campbell system. Was it Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn system, or was it Dan Campbell system? Like, that is my biggest complex that I'm having inside of my mind here. And when we look at the over-under projection for them, that is the biggest what if. Was it the Aaron Glenn system? Was it the Ben Johnson system? Or is it the Dan Campbell grits, gut, and glory system, right? But they did have a 15-win season in 2024. But the Lions are expected to take a step back in 2025, as they are only projected to win 10.5 games in 2025. I say only, that's the second highest in the NFL, with tied with a couple of other teams, but still, they are projected to take a couple steps back in 2025. So, guys, over under 10.5 wins for the Detroit Lions in 2025. I feel like I need to repeat this over and over and over. Every team that we talk about, I need to repeat this. At the NFC North, I think is the toughest division in football. They are going to beat each other up, and I think the winner of the NFC North will ultimately make the NFC Championship game. With that being said, I think the Detroit Lions go 5-1 in the NFC North. I think they sweep the Vikings. I think they sweep the Bears, and they split with the Green Bay Packers, giving them 5 wins on the season. We're already almost halfway there to the over-under total of 10.5. Their home schedule is fairly favorable. They play the Dallas Cowboys at home. They play the Giants at home. They play the Browns at home. They play the Steelers at home, and then they play the Buccaneers at home. We're already sitting at 5 wins. I think they beat the Cowboys, Giants, Browns, and Steelers all at home, giving them 9 wins. But I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the Detroit Lions numbers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers is a team, if I'm the Lions or if I'm the Eagles or if I'm the Rams, I do not want to play the Buccaneers, especially in the postseason, let alone in the regular season. They are the giant slayers. But we have 9 wins for the Detroit Lions going into the away games. The away games are tough, baby. They are tough. They play the Philadelphia Eagles on the road. They play the Cincinnati Bengals on the road. They play the Ravens on the road, the Chiefs on the road, and the Rams on the road. Guys, I think they only get one road win in 2025 outside of the division, and that is versus the Cincinnati Bengals, giving them Miss Davis's wins on the season, 10. They lose to the Eagles on the road. They lose to the Ravens on the road. They lose to the Rams on the road, and then they lose to the Kansas City Chiefs on the road as well. Guys, over under 10.5 wins for the Detroit Lions in 2025. I got to go under. I'm giving them 10 wins. Now, that is no slouch. That is no bad season. That's no overlooking them. They went 5-1 in the toughest division in football. Their road schedule is just tough. It is tough. It is tough. It is tough. It is tough. And Old Man River says they had an unbeaten road record last season. Listen, you cannot dog that. You cannot discredit that, right? But let's just be honest. The Detroit Lions had a very favorable schedule last season. They had a very favorable schedule last season. On the road, they played the Arizona Cardinals, the Dallas Cowboys, and then they played the Houston Texans, and then they played the Colts on the road, the Bears, and the 49ers. All of which were all below 500 teams. All of which were non-playoff teams. All of which were just pretty much non-factors most of the season. So to say that they were undefeated on the road last season, yes, that is great, right? They went into Indianapolis and they beat them. They went into Houston, Texas, and they come back after a first half shellacking and come back and wax that ass 26-23. They beat the terrible San Francisco 49ers barely 40-34, right? They weren't really playing for much, but whatever it is, like it is what it is. Now, of course, they did play the Vikings on the road, and then they played the Bears on the road, of course, and then they played the Green Bay Packers on on the road. All very impressive wins, all very good divisional wins, right? But let's not act like they were playing the Rams on the road. Let's not act like they were playing the Chiefs on the road, the Rams on the road, the Eagles on the road. So I get what you're saying, old man River, and your point is very, very valid. But this year's road schedule is a hell of a lot harder. This year's road schedule, everybody has your firm eye on you. Being 15-2, you got the biggest bullseye on you in the world. Everybody wants to slay that dragon, especially the Eagles. Because everybody liking their dog said, well, if the Lions would have played the Eagles, they would have beat their asses, whatever. You guys couldn't get past the Commanders. The Ravens have been the NFC killers. The Rams are the best team in the NFC as of right now. The Chiefs are going to be a tough out. Whether you want to admit it or not, Arrowhead is a tough place to play. Especially when you are a dome team. Especially when this game is probably going to be in November, maybe even December. But guys, over under 10.5 wins for the Detroit Lions in 2025, I have to go under. Now, the hype around the Chicago Bears is at a all-time high yet again. In 2024 offseason, about this time, all you heard about was Caleb Williams and how great they're going to be and all this buzz and everything, all the hype, right? All the hype was the real thing. Now, 2025, we're hearing it yet all again. Ben Johnson's in town. We did all the right things during the offseason. Caleb Williams, yeah, he may have had a down rookie season. He may have done a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But hey, we're still going to be good. Guys, the point of the matter is the Bears are saying that they are a running back away. The NFL experts are saying that the Chicago Bears are a running back away. So guys, let's ask this question. Are the Chicago Bears a running back away from making a deep playoff run in 2025? Before we go to the future, let's blast back to the past. There was a lot of buzz when the Chicago Bears brought in DeAndre Swift in 2024. After his 1,000-yard season with the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2023, he was going to go to the moon, baby. He was going to be the man, the myth, the legend. as he still did rush for 959 yards in 2024 with 6 touchdowns. He just never seemed to be that guy per se. He seemed to never really get the motions and really excel for 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row. They ended up with the 26th ranked rushing attack in 2024, just averaging 101.6 yards per game. Of course, a lot of their rushing issues, period, could be linked to the offensive line play per se. Now, they did try to sure that up a little bit, bringing in Jonah Jackson, trading for the Kansas City Chiefs guy. His name slipped on my mind. But in theory, that all should improve the rushing game. So therefore, DeAndre Swift should have a spectacular season. The reason that I say the O-line was the issue is like when the defense knows that they can just bring 4 guys and get to Caleb Williams in 2.5 seconds, that puts all the pressure on the running back. Pick up your blitz. That makes linebacking play a hell of a lot easier, right? DeAndre Swift just never really had a chance. Let's just be honest. Swift is entering his 6th season in the NFL. Now, like I said, I'm not saying he's a bad back, but he's not great either. He's just nice, like a nice mediocre mid-tier, a part of a 1-2 back system. Now, the Chicago Bears are sitting at the 10th overall pick, and all signs are pointing that they are drafting Ashton Gentry out of Boise State. Now, the Las Vegas Raiders are like, hold my beer. We got a little higher pick than you. But let's say Gentry does fall down to that number 1 or to that number 10 pick, and the Chicago Bears do draft him. Are the Bears a deep playoff run then? If they draft Gentry, are they going into a deep playoff run? Guys, the simple question or the simple answer is no. The Bears are not a running back away. I think DeAndre Swift can carry the load of the Chicago Bears in 2025. I think DeAndre Swift could have another 1,000-yard season with the newly rebuilt offensive line, and then of course all the other pieces that they've added are just simply behind the 8 ball. They are simply behind the 8 like the 8 ball because the NFC North is the toughest division in football. It's the toughest division in football, and at the end of the day, it is the Chicago Bears because they did have another letdown in 2024. They had all the hype, but they just shit the bed. But the Bears are projected to have yet another losing season in 2025. They are projected to have 8.5 wins in 2025. So, guys, over under 8.5 wins for the Chicago Bears in 2025. Let me repeat this one more time. The NFC North is the toughest division in football, and I think the Bears go 1-5 in the division. Their only win is versus the Minnesota Vikings. They get swept by the Packers and they get swept by the Lions, giving them 1 win. So we need 8 out-of-conference wins to get the over. Their home schedule is a little bit favorable. Much like the Detroit Lions, their home schedule is a little bit favorable. They play the Cowboys, Giants, Browns, Steelers, and Saints all at home. I think they beat the Giants, they beat the Browns, and they beat the Saints. Steelers and Cowboys are a tough draw, right? I will give you the win over the Cowboys, but the Steelers, just as of right now, I cannot give you the win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their defense is too good, and they have the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. Just be honest. Now, their road games, much like the Detroit Lions, are tough, baby. They're tough. They play the Ravens, they play the Bengals, they play the Eagles, Commanders, 49ers, and then the Las Vegas Raiders. So we're looking at 4 road wins to get over that 8.5 mark. We're looking at 4 road wins to get into the playoffs, particularly. They're not beating the Ravens at home. They're not beating the Bengals at home. They're not beating the Eagles at home, on the road. They are not beating the Commanders on the road. They're not beating the 49ers on the road. They're probably not even beating the Las Vegas Raiders on the road. Now, I'm not saying that the Chicago Bears are a bad team. Much like last season, they had a very, very tough schedule. This year, they have even a tougher schedule. Guys, I have to go under for the Chicago Bears. 8.5 wins under. Being in the toughest division in football, having one of the hardest road schedules in football, having a easier home schedule, but you still play the Giants, or the Giants are underrated. The Giants are going to sneak up and bite some people in the ass. The Browns still have a good defense, right? And they got 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks on their roster. The Steelers are going to be good. I think the Saints are going to shock some people. And then you have the Dallas Cowboys that are probably Super Bowl champs. But I got to go under. But guys, over under 8.5 wins for the Chicago Bears in 2025. My man John's in the chat. What's up, John?
Big skin pun. Get you some.
He says under for the Chicago Bears. No fandom there, but John is a Detroit Lions fan. Let's just point that out there. Real McCoy says, I think the Bears should have kept Fields under center, and he's picking under. Listen, real McCoy, you are not the only one that they thought they should have kept Justin Fields, right? But when a new coach comes in, like Eberflus did, they want to draft their quarterback. Unfortunately, he was the odd man out. John is saying under. Old Man River is saying under. 8 wins for the Chicago Bears. Guys, what do you think? Over under 8.5 wins for the Chicago Bears in 5. Now, John, I've seen that we were talking, or I'm sure you saw that we were talking about your Detroit Lions, and you popped in a little late, and I already transitioned, but I see what you've been saying. Judas Howard is in the chat as well. He says Detroit Lions have over 10 wins. So the over would be 11 because you're sitting at 10.5, Judas, so you got to go under. You got to go under. But John says, why does Detroit have no chance? Sorry, I missed the beginning. So, John, you know I've been deemed this Detroit Lions hater, and I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm trying to be a realist, right? 2 years ago, like I said, they had the Super Bowl window was wide open. When they made the NFC Championship game versus the San Francisco 49ers, if they would have went to that Super Bowl, they would have been probably back-to-back Super Bowl champs. Let's just be honest. But when you just get to the championship and then you lose, you're obviously going to have a letdown the following season. Obviously, that did not happen. 15-win season. What was it? 24 guys on the IR, plug and play, whatever, yada, yada, yada. The reason that I do not think that the Detroit Lions are Super Bowl favorites in 2025 is because the rest of the NFL has caught up to the Detroit Lions. 2-3 years ago, the Lions were right here, and then the rest of the NFC was right here. They were trying to be relevant, but just it is what it is. The Eagles passed the Detroit Lions. The Rams have passed the Detroit Lions in 2025. The Commanders are right there. There's other teams right there getting up there. The Vikings, the Packers, the Dallas Cowboys. Right, there are teams right there that are matching the Detroit Lions' greatness. And I think there's a couple teams that have surpassed them. And as they did not lose guys on the offense, they are getting guys back on the defense. I think the loss of Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn is going to be a real telling point, right? Was it their systems that made the Detroit Lions great, or was it Dan Campbell's system? Whose system was it, right? And is the system that if it is Dan Campbell's system, is it the system that Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn were heads of? Can they be plugged and played too, right? So that is why I do not think that they're Super Bowl favorites. And John says, you're crazy, bro. The gate continues. Detroit Lions have 12 wins this season. And if they can have the repeat success that they had on the offensive side of the ball, yes, that could be true, John. But the truth is, the Eagles now 10-0, like 11-0, and awesome, but you may not win the rest of the game for the rest of the season. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles just a couple years ago. In there, but yeah. The Minnesota Vikings got different starting quarterbacks in week 1 and the last 3 seasons. We've heard all this talk about Aaron Rodgers coming to Minnesota last season with a pretty decent quarterback, par 2025. Much like San Francisco 49ers, them in Minnesota have truly a plug-and-play quarterback system. No matter who the quarterback is, as long as they are at least decent, above average, a 14th, 13th, 12th quarterback in the NFL, above average, they're going to have massive success in Minnesota. When you look at the defense, however, They had the 16th ranked defense in 2024. They had the 28th ranked pass defense. They had the second ranked rush defense. Like a lot of teams were passing on them, so those numbers are a little bit skewed. But Sam Darnold was a top 5 quarterback last season. They had the 12th ranked overall offense, 6th in passing, and 19th in rushing. I expect Aaron Jones to get the ball a little bit more this season. Now, as the quarterback play will be a huge factor for the Minnesota Vikings in 2025. Let's just be honest. If J.J. McCarthy is healthy, if J.J. McCarthy is above average, the Minnesota Vikings should do well. But the weakest link on the Minnesota Vikings is not the quarterback play. The weakest link on the Minnesota Vikings is not even on the offensive side of the ball. It's on the defensive side of the ball. 6-year-old on that team, and it is on this minute. It's been a staple for the purpose for his 12th or 13th. You may have a down season. At 7-6-5 wins in 2024. They had a 14-win team, but they were a one and done in the playoffs. So over under 8.5 wins for the Minnesota Vikings in 2025. We need to say this one more time. The NFC North, their home schedule is pretty tough. The Bears and like Lions road schedule has been pretty tough, but the Eagles have an advantage. I think the Eagles will be tough, but playing in Minnesota is tough, right? So let's give them the win. Jackson, 35-1 versus NFC receivers. We might see a 500-yard game out of